The homelands has probably been one of my bigger inspirations. So going out to areas like Point Lowly, Fitzgerald Bay, out at Wild Dog Hill, the colours, and just like the wildflowers that grow. And so you'll see in some of my artwork I've got quite a lot of colours that overlay, and that's about the different colours of country. And I just put it in a form that's got a really cultural feel to it. My name's Jody Croft, and I'm from Whyalla. So I moved away when I was young and came back, so I am a Bangla woman. So my mob are from here. So I paint acrylic on canvas, and I have dabbled in a few other things over time, but that's my main medium. I love drawing at primary school. All the way through school I did like pottery, I'd learned a bit of macrame, did a bit of batik art as well. And yeah, but then I kind of sketched a bit. Once I came out of school, it was mainly more sketching because of work and things like that. And started making a few trips home, learning a few stories. And probably in 2010 is when I really kicked off my cultural side of art. Yeah, and having that cultural feel to it. I think one of our biggest things growing up and learning it, especially culturally, is looking after country. And I love nature, getting out about, and sometimes I'll hear a story and I'll get an idea, and then I'll go to put that down. And I might go out and I'll see the way something's growing, or patterns in the sand, or just things like that in the clouds, and I'll just think, oh, that's I'll get a bit of a artsy view in my mind, and I'll go and put it down then, yes. I went out to country a lot with my grandmother and my dad. So I did learn a few things back then, and it's just a shame as we grow up, if you're not there all the time, some things, that you forget. So it's been lovely to come home and go to places and have this reconnection and understanding of things. So yeah, so it's been wonderful coming back and reconnecting with country. But I don't feel I ever lost that connection. I always knew where I'm from, and who I was, and I guess what was required of me within my family setting. Yeah. Everyone's so friendly for starters, and culture was very rich around us. So I remember, in Catherine, you'd walk down the street and it's like, g'day, how you going? All these kind of things. And I remember the first time I went to Melbourne after moving to Victoria, and it was quite a culture shock actually, because you'd walk around and, g'day, how you going? And people just kind of have this wall up. So I learned pretty quickly there. So yeah, that was a bit of a culture shock, but I always knew I was going to come home. I always knew I'd be back here. And so this is going on 3 years now that I've been back in Whyalla, but always came back for visits. I like using usually canvas that's primed already, because it's a bit stronger than something that's on already framed. If it's not as good a quality, because especially if you're selling it, you want to make sure it's going to be long lasting for people. And so I used primed canvas and acrylic paint, and I love using a diversity of colours. And actually, I think when a lot of my paintings, you can tell it. I just feel it's got that feminine feel to it. So I do like using bright colours, especially like the colours of country ones that I do, where I've mentioned about the wildflowers. But what I have noticed too is a bit of a shift over the last years in my artwork. So it's like, I don't know, all the inspiration since I've been back, I can notice how my artwork has evolved, and it's changed over that time frame as well. But yeah, that's the main, is those mediums. I prefer to use acrylic. I haven't used oil since school, but I think acrylic's really diverse, and I don't always use a brush. I might use the back of the brush, or I might use sticks from outside. It just depends what I kind of come across. Sometimes toothpicks if I want really defined or really small a pattern through. So yeah, so I kind of rotate it and what I feel is going to give it the best effect. If it's something that I've noticed straight away, then I can probably clean it up relatively quickly when the paint's still wet. But there are times where I've come back and I'm like, oh, I didn't notice that. So where I can work then with the painting to make that work, make that mistake work in there. But then it's just stepping back and, like I said, just having that faith that it's all going to work out at the end. Yeah, but sometimes there are particular ones where you really want it to be that way. So sometimes I have started a new one just to get that, but I won't waste what I've already done, and I will work with it in some other way. I think every artist we're our own worst critic, so we look at our work and we're like, I could have probably done that better, but then I step back and I think, well, no, that's how it's meant to be, so I've got this way about me where it's just like, I think that's how it's meant to be. And so, but you do at times go, oh, that colour would have went well in there, or maybe if I would have used this technique here, that could have looked really good. So you do, but usually once I've finished then, and I'll step back. But I'm just having I think it's trusting in yourself and just having faith in your own ability to do it and get it out there. And I think over time that's what I've grown with that. And and so usually once I'm done, I'm pretty happy with the finished product. Yeah. My grandmother, I remember her being a big inspiration when I was younger, and she really painted more landscape though, but she was so good at it, and I remember thinking, just being amazed by her work. I just love art in general actually, so I do love getting on and looking at certain galleries and what things are happening, and when I'm in a position to, like when I've been in Melbourne, going to the big art gallery there in the city, but yeah, I'm inspired by just people in general and what they put out there. I think it's just, have faith in yourself, because, I think it's just having that feeling of wanting to do it, and don't deny that feeling, and just put it out there. And I think if we look around, support's there. It is there. It's just a matter of looking, but don't, just if you can't find it the first time, don't let that stop you. Keep looking, and it'll be there. But don't put your dream aside because you might feel it's not there at the moment. Because when you start putting it out there and you're looking for it, it's amazing what comes knocking at your door, or that bypasses you. All we can do is concentrate on our world around us and our immediate, in our immediate surroundings, and so just take the best of it you can and keep moving forward. Yeah.
Look at you over there, talking to your friends and touching your